Our viewers, thank you so much for joining us today at the Entrepreneur TV show. My name is Lucien Jeffrey. I've been hosting this show for the last 4 years, and I've enjoyed bringing to you great people, great professionals that we've been all of us learning from. I would like to remind you that this show is sponsored by the Entrepreneur Nation, and the Entrepreneur Nation is a business development group. It's a business referral group that started here in London, Ontario, and then grew countrywide. We work a lot with licensed professionals and business owners to help them to grow their businesses through referral networks. Today, I have a great guest for you, a great business lawyer that you all need to know. And when I turn the screen, I will be able to bring to you Nassira to speak to us today. Welcome, Nassira.
Hi, Lucy. Thank you very much for having me today.
Awesome. It's been a while. We've been wanting to connect, but I know you've been busy growing your law firm.
I know it's been very busy and very exciting, actually.
Awesome. Great. So I wanted to ask you because our viewers really want to know who our guests are, and they say people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So we like knowing our guests even before they became a lawyer. Tell us a bit of history about yourself before you became a lawyer.
Yeah, sure. I do think I agree with you 100% that we need to know who we are doing business with. And I always share my background. I'm happy to. So yeah, a very short summary about myself is that I was born in Morocco. And when I was 6 years old, my parents moved to Spain. So I grew up in Spain. I did my law degree there. And after that, I went to France and I did a master's in international business law. And after that, I met my husband who convinced me to join him in Canada. So that's the reason I'm here. So I came to Canada and I went through all the process to become a lawyer here. So today I'm a business lawyer and I help clients from the moment they have the idea of starting a business to when they decide to sell it or dissolve it. And while the business is operational, I help them do business. And today I run Hadri Law, which is a law firm based in Toronto. I started it a couple of months ago, and I'm a mom of a 2-year-old girl.
Awesome. Great.
Okay.
Awesome. Great to hear a short summary of what you did and where you came from. Morocco is such a beautiful country. I've always wanted to go to Morocco. So let me ask you then. So in Spain is where you did your law degree. Did you practice in Spain or how was that? So how was that?
So as soon as I finished law school, I had the option of being called to the bar in Spain or do more education. So I decided to go to France and do a master's degree because I just figured as well that if I became a lawyer and I started working, if I was called to the bar, I would be busy working and I would never earn a master's degree. So I decided to go for the master's degree first.
Awesome, great. So, really, this is very interesting. You know, Morocco, Spain, France, Canada. So, you are very well traveled, very international as we can think about it. And I'm happy to hear that. So, then you arrived in Canada and you want to do all the licensing all over again. How did that go?
Wow, it was quite a process actually, because I studied law in Spain and did a master's in France. So both of those are civil law jurisdictions, and Canada is a common law jurisdiction. And so the NCA, the National Committee of Accreditation, are the ones looking at your law degree and saying what do you need to do to be qualified to get a certificate to be able to pass the bar exams and do articling. So basically go through the licensing process to become a lawyer in Canada. So they asked me to go back to law school just because I didn't have any education in Canadian common law. So I did that. I went back to law school. I did an LLM at Osgood. And while I was doing that part-time, I was working full-time. So because studying a master's degree here in Canada is very expensive if we compare it to a master's degree in France or Spain, for example. So I wanted to work full-time to cover my expenses. So when I finished the LLM, I wouldn't have debt. So that was very important to me. At the same time, I was still gaining more experience, so Canadian experience, I was working almost like an in-house counsel. So that was great experience, great exposure. I was supporting law firms from across Canada because the company served and serves clients across the country. So, and also connections, like making connections, growing my network. So while I was doing all of this, earning the LLM, uh, and then after that, I did the pass the bar exams, which we are all required to do. Then went and articled at a law firm in Hamilton, a mid-sized and very busy law firm. And but the process itself, it's very stressful, it's very long, and it's very expensive. So what I tell people that they want to come to Canada and do this is, first you need to plan. Talk to someone who has gone through the process to help you look into what should you be preparing for, but at the same time, like, have a plan, go step by step, uh, keep in mind your goal, that one day you will get there, but it's not going to be easy. That's all what I would like to remind everyone, that it's not going to be easy, but it's not impossible. If I did it, you can do it too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that words of encouragement, Nassira. So here's my question for you. How long did it take?
For me, it took me, so I came to Canada in 2015. So I didn't qualify as a lawyer as until 2021. So it took me 6 years to gather all the experience that I needed, go through the process, getting accepted into the program, the LLM program at Osgood. So it takes a long time. But the thing is, for me, it wasn't important to get there, to become licensed as a lawyer in Ontario. What I wanted to do is be prepared when I became a lawyer. So have all the tools that I needed to be employable, to be able to help clients. So to me, it didn't make sense just to qualify. It made sense to be ready to serve clients at the same time.
I really appreciate that. And I've seen you talking about it on LinkedIn. So thank you for also speaking to others so that really they know the process that it takes and what it takes them to do that. I appreciate you. So then you finished all that, you worked in Ambisi law firm, you gained a lot of experience, but you decided to start your own law firm. You decided to become an entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit more about that. What made you decide to start your own law firm?
I know. Well, because I have a very unique skill set because of my education, the languages that I speak, my experience. So I came to the conclusions that wherever I went, I would be just using a very small percentage of my skill set. So I just decided to create my own firm. But to be honest with you, I've always wanted to have my own firm. I always wanted to run my own firm. It was just a matter of time. So, and the reason is because I'm passionate about the law. I'm passionate about providing solutions to clients, dealing with people, doing business. And Hadri law allows me to do all of this. I have the freedom of choosing the clients that I work for, the type of work that I do, the professionals that I work with, and especially the when and where. So, for example, I can set my own hours. So, as a mom, that's very important. And they can work from anywhere in the world. So that is also important because I offer international business law services. So that's the way how I am setting my law firm to operate.
Awesome, great. You are very smart, Nassira, and I can hear all that. There's nothing that beats the flexibility of owning your own business, the flexibility of making your own decisions. I actually look at myself these days and wonder if I'm employable, right? Once you taste entrepreneurship, you just want to stay there. I love that. But let me ask you, let's talk about the languages. You know, lived in 4 countries. I'm sure you speak so many languages. So speak to us about the languages that you offer the services in.
Yeah, it's actually one of my greatest assets, right? So I speak Spanish, Catalan, French, English, obviously, and Arabic. And the reason I know those languages is not because I've studied them. I sat down and studied each of them and I wanted to learn them. It's just because I lived in countries where these languages are spoken. So you have no choice but to learn them. And I think this is the best way to learn a language, when you have no choice.
Awesome. I really agree with you on that. So then, do you find that customers are seeking you out based on the language, because you can speak their language?
It's proven that people feel more comfortable when you can serve them in their own language. They feel more proximate to you. They feel more. They feel there is more confidence. So I think that's what I offer to my clients, and that's because I offer international business services. So I help clients come to Canada, or Canadian businesses go to Europe. I am able to deal with them in their own languages. So they feel that they can share anything with me, that I understand the culture, I understand how things work in their countries, and what should I highlight for them in the new country, because I know the differences better.
Wonderful. That really makes a lot of sense. So let's go then specifically into the services that you offer. I know you said you're an international business lawyer. So we might want to understand a little bit what that means and the specific services that you offer to your clients.
Yeah, so I offer corporate, commercial, employment, and international business law. And in the area of corporate, I do incorporation of businesses, reorganizations, amalgamations, dissolutions, corporate governance, corporate compliance, and shareholder rights, just to name a few. And in the area of commercial law, I do M&A, so buying and selling businesses, drafting, reviewing, and negotiating commercial contracts, could be a lease agreement, for example. And I help clients in secured and unsecured lending and borrowing transactions, and also in secured and unsecured debt recovery. And then in the area of employment law, what I do is I support those businesses by providing HR legal solutions. So hiring and dismissal of employees, employment contract review and drafting and negotiation, severance negotiation, and regulatory compliance. And then, as I said, in the area of international business law, I help businesses expand their operations outside of Canada, so Canadian businesses, but I also help foreign businesses expand operations into the Canadian market, and doing international banking and finance, and import and export of goods and services. So in a nutshell, this is what I do.
Awesome, great. Really, that's wonderful. I've talked to so many corporate and commercial lawyers, but I've never talked to someone who does the international side of business. So that's really a specific area. So my question is, why did you decide to pick this area of law, the business law, international business law?
It's natural for me to do international business law, just because I've accumulated these great assets that I can offer to my clients. So as I said, like the languages, having lived in different countries, understanding the systems of different markets. So I help clients, for example, Canadian clients that are more interested in going into the American market, but I can also offer support to go to South America, to Europe, especially Spain and France, and also Africa, right? So it's because I've known, for the education that I've done and the languages and understanding the culture, that I realized that what I am best at use is at helping businesses. So I'm passionate about helping the businesses grow. And at the same time, if that's internationally, I would love to do that, because I enjoy using all the tools that I have on my toolbox.
Wonderful. That's really great. I really appreciate that. So I know then, and I want us to go a little bit in a deeper sense here, that you help businesses to expand internationally. At what point do businesses, why business should seek an international lawyer? How do they know when they need you?
So the minute they have the idea of expanding, they should always consult with a lawyer. We are the trusted advisor for so many reasons, but if they are thinking about going into a foreign market, which they know nothing about, it's good to have the expertise of someone who does know those legal systems to start with. Like, how does it work? For example, us, we are based on common law, versus in Europe, it's civil law. It's not the same. The way how things operate are not the same. So it's always good to have that insight, have that guidance. One of the things that I offer is my network. So because I've traveled and I lived in different places, and I know lawyers like almost in every corner in the world, so I can have any transaction happen because I count with that very valuable network. So usually a company would not have those contacts, would not have who to go to complete a transaction. So when you have an international business lawyer who is doing this every single day, so they are in good hands to complete any transaction that they need in any market that they need. And that's one of the things that I offer and I am very passionate about, because it's a real milestone for those companies to be able to expand internationally.
Awesome. Great. You know what, Nassira? I am passionate about entrepreneurship and supporting businesses. And I think that's why you and I agree in many areas, because you're passionate about supporting businesses. So here is my question for you then. Looking at your own law firm that is based in Toronto, how do clients find you?
So I can be reached always via email. That's the best way you can reach me. Also via on the phone. You can call me, can send me even a WhatsApp. I'm very accessible. You can always find me on LinkedIn, and I would be happy to discuss any scenario. That's one of the things I like to do is talk business. Some business they would reach out to see what is their potential of going here and there. Like if I know the market, I know the product. So I love having these discussions, even if it doesn't end up with doing it right now. If they need a lawyer later on, they will reach out to me because they know uh, that I helped them the first day when we had a conversation only about the business.
Awesome, great. So I want to dive in into a few other areas, but do you have anything else that you want to tell our viewers about your law firm and your practice?
Well, starting a law firm is not easy. It's like starting any business. No business is easy to start. And the thing is, nobody feels ready to start a business. There is always something that it's missing. So I've wanted to do this for so long, and we always have that doubt. So I would like to tell your viewers that if they wanna start a business, they should do it. They should do it because for so many reasons that they very well know. But one of the reasons is that they can do it.
Awesome. And I think with starting a law firm, there are also many regulatory things that you have to consider and all that. So yeah, definitely. Thank you for doing that and motivating other people to do the same. So I wanted to jump into being an internationally trained lawyer. I am on LinkedIn with you there where we are connected, and I know you are an inspiration to other internationally trained lawyers. I have seen internationally trained lawyers struggling to get licensed in Canada. I have seen the Minister of Immigration and Labor and Skills Development saying that they are changing things so that people don't have to go through those tough situations. So tell me then, what advice do you have for them? Take a bit of time and give advice to internationally trained lawyers.
Yes, absolutely. As I said, internationally trained lawyers come to Canada and they have a dream. And we all share that dream, which is the profession that you are doing back home, you would like to do it in Canada. The bad news is that it's not going to be like right away, it's not going to be easy, and you will have to start from scratch most of the time. And you will have to do jobs that are not related to the law, but the good news, it's feasible, it's doable, and many of us have already done it. So chances are you can also do it too. But in order to do it, you need to have a plan in place because the process is long. The process is very expensive, especially for us coming from Europe. It's very expensive for us when we compare it to back home. And then get in touch with everybody else that you know has went through the same process, because they will have experiences to share with you, and they can share with you those things that they didn't know and they would have want to know at that time. The other thing is to stay focused. So don't forget what you're here, what you're doing. You are working towards a goal. You're going to be dismotivated. You're going to be, it's going to be hard on you. It's sometimes you're going to feel like you want to give up, but just keep focused and thinking that you will get there. Like every other people have got there, you will also get there, and go step by step. So take your time to understand the process and tackle one task after the other. So you first do your NCAs, then you do the bar exams, the solicitor, the barrister, and then you do your articling. So take one of those as a milestone. Whenever you finish it, celebrate. That's important. You need to celebrate every time you reach a milestone because you have done it. But don't get overwhelmed with all the steps that you need to do. Just take one by one, and then gather as much experience and make as many contacts as possible, because while you at this time think it's not important and they are not related to the law, when you become a lawyer, they may become very important. And work on your network since now. Like don't delay it anymore. And as I said, be ready to start from scratch. Like you should know that. Like when you come here, be ready to have that experience of having to do things you were not used to do in your back home, like going back a few steps.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that great advice. And, it resonates with me coming here, as a former high school teacher and senior manager in the banking sector. I did not land in the same jobs. Even though finally I got a job in the banking sector, I wasn't going to be senior in that bank. I knew that. So, preparing yourself that you're in a new country and need to go step by step, it's a great things. And actually reaching out to other people to hear how it went and to get some inspiration. So, and with the inspiration piece, I noticed that you are very active on LinkedIn, Nassira. Very active. You talk about your journey, and I like that because it helps others to see that journey and to learn. It's always nice when we are willing to share our stories for others to learn from our stories. So you are very active on LinkedIn. You are very passionate about the practice of law. You enjoy sharing with other lawyers there. But what concerns do you have about the practice of law, if
Yeah,
any?
yes. Like I do have a main concern, and it's that lawyers live in the profession. I do feel uh, that's one of the things we need to prevent when it's possible. And the main reasons people are leaving the law, usually it's because of burnout. So we are in the business of helping people, and sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves. So if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not going to be able to help anyone. And most of the time, we forget that. And I am one of those people. So I need to work on that. And also, like, taking care of ourselves and our mental health. So those are the things that um, these are the things that may lead us to burnout and eventually leaving the law. The other thing is having a bad experience, especially for articling students. So these are new lawyers coming into the market. That's the first experience that they have as a lawyer. And in some cases, they end up in workplaces where it's a bad working environment and they have bad mentors. So it's not a great start for their career. And they think this is how the practice of law works, or this is the way how they have to practice the law, or these are the areas of law they need to do because they got a position to practice those areas of law and there is nothing else. They have to follow the way how certain lawyers operate. They think everybody works the same way, and that's not true. They need to remember that that's one bad experience that they had, and unfortunately, it happens more often that first year lawyers they experience that, articling students they experience that. So what I would like them to know is that that's only one experience, and they can have as many as they want. And if they move to other places, they will find out that there are other ways of practicing the law. There are other working environments. There are other people who are trying to change things. And the other reason why some professionals are leaving the law as well are because they become mothers. So we, as women, go through this process of becoming mothers, and then it feels like we have to choose between motherhood or the practice of law. And it's just because it's hard to juggle between both, because they're both very demanding things to do. So it comes to a point where I think maybe majority of the people, we go through this, where you have to, you feel like you have to choose, but I don't think we have to choose anymore. More and more lawyers, female lawyers, are creating great workplaces, and other male lawyers are also working towards this goal of to be inclusive, to help young mothers with young children to be able to do both things. So we don't have to give up on the law to become mothers.
Wonderful. That's really great. That's great advice. I know that even when you're not in the law, eventually someone becomes a mother, it's earned and responsibility. And really finding that support that will support women to be able to continue with that practice is very important. I appreciate that. And I thank you that you have explored those areas and you are always willing to share with the others out there. So I wanted to ask you then, you've been a member of the Entrepreneur Nation for 8 months now. And I reached out to you on LinkedIn. You responded very fast, which was awesome. I talked to you about the Burlington chapter because we needed you there, and you joined the chapter. You've not missed your meetings. You've come. I posted on LinkedIn the other day. You go to your After 5 business bingo. You come to the women's club. It can only be a successful journey for you when you take everything that we do here. So how has it been, Nassira?
Oh, it has been great. I've been having a great experience, having a lot of fun, because I find value in being connected to other professionals, and it's mainly to serve better my clients. So I am a business lawyer, and while I offer so many services for them, there are others that I cannot offer. So my clients may need the expertise of an accountant, a financial planner, a business evaluator, a business exit planner, another lawyer who specializes in other areas of the law. So I am in a position where I can offer them those options. So I know people, I know them in person, I see them and I talk to them, I know how they operate. So I can always introduce them to my clients to serve them on those areas that I don't. So I think I'm doing a better service for my clients.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. And you have built great relationships with our members there, and the sky is the limit for you. That's what I think. I'm very excited to see the success of your law firm, and we'll keep in touch. If you ever want to come back, we'll definitely be happy to have you, Nassira. Do you have any final few words for our viewers?
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity, Lucy. It has been great to be on your show. And I am just here to inspire others. Anybody who wants to take the leap and start their own law firm, anybody who's coming from outside of Canada and they want to become a lawyer in Canada, and any other junior lawyers who are struggling to make it in the legal market and they have doubts and they want to speak to someone, I'm always happy to speak to them. So I'm here to serve, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you so much for finding the time to join us. Our viewers, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.